Today, I'm down over $76,000 day trading live, and it sucked losing 76K in front of 600 plus people, but I'm here to review it. And these were the two losses that we ended up taking on live today, which caused my losing day. It sucked. Definitely did. Felt really bad about it. But at the end of the day, it's trading and it's one day at a time. Before I go into the entries and I talk about why I took the trades where I did, let's go over my bias. Let's go over what I thought about and why I assumed putting risk on where I did was appropriate. Starting off higher time frame, what you could see is that we had clear interest in driving up higher. How do we identify that? Well, we identify that through looking at overnight price, trading at a bullish state. And then we look at higher time frames being, we have clear imbalances towards the upside after this large displacement back up. Hourly time frame prints back up. We have a clear new week opening gap to fill. And what I wanted to see price do was come up and surely do that. We do end up seeing that new week opening gap get filled, but that's the literal high that was put in place. Zooming down through the 15-minute time frame after looking at your higher time frame narrative, what I wanted to see was the opening range move. And with ES and NQ here, ES precisely off the open, the reason you see me go ahead and be risk on ES today as opposed to NQ is because of the fact that ES was much more leading. And so how do you tell? Well, if you look at price here through the open, you could see clear divergence through the open based upon the 5-minute or even the 1-minute time frame here. At your 9:30 a.m. open, you see large displays come back up on ES, and you see a good drive into your London high. That is our opening range move on ES. But NQ does not end up causing its opening range move all the way until we take out London lows. So at 9:39, 6 minutes after ES took out London highs, we see NQ take out London lows. So some extreme divergence there between ES and NQ as ES takes out the high and NQ takes out the low. So we were aware of that, and what we decided to do was still play into that long bias on ES, but here's the thing that caused me to stop out today. One of the main instances was the divergence. The first trade that we ended up taking here after recognizing that higher time frame was bullish through looking at displacement on the hourly time frame, simply put, keeping it simple, seeing these arrays get violated, and seeing this new week opening gap being wide open. The main factor behind this first trade and the reason this trade lost was because of the fact that we had massive divergence and we had the weaker asset not take out the liquidity required before taking this trade. Just prior to entering this trade, you could see me post the idea in mind. I said potential long in play. ES leading, good 5-minute gap rebalance. Idea here is continuation higher. Target 7636, NQ bearish. What made this A plus is if NQ swept Asia lows, left it open with a couple points to go. So admittedly, I said we're essentially not taking an A plus trade here, being slightly impatient. And that was because at the time of this entry, NQ had bottomed off a low here, which was a couple points away from taking out Asia low. Now, although we had some supreme divergence off the open, which was the main reasoning behind the loss on the first trade, this was also a main reason here as well. What we should have done here is we should have waited. Instead of taking our longs and taking this ES trade, we should have waited for price to come down, and we should have waited for price to take out Asia lows. And I do end up saying that on live. However, I still decide to be risk on. We see price essentially come back up here, and through displacement, I was convinced that we see price drop higher. But here's the thing, Leto, liquidity wasn't taking. I know. That was simply me being impatient today. And although we've been very patient for the week so far, right, we've been break even the past 2 days for the most part. And specifically with yesterday, we were on live for a couple hours and didn't end up taking any trades. Today, I was a bit more impatient. In these market conditions, with how bad price has been, the only way you'll be able to make money in these conditions is by simply being extremely patient. And that's what we felt today. Although we were naturally patient and a bit more patient than usual in usual markets, just because we don't require that patience, we were still not patient enough in these conditions. Had we simply waited for H lows to be taken out here prior to entering any type of trade, this long here would have been completely mitigated and this would have been never taken. So this first loss here was based off a 1-minute gap 1-minute gap rebalance off this area of interest right here alongside this 1-minute gap rebalance here. We end up violating this gap, but simply rebalanced off the bigger gap here, then taking entry, going risk-free stops at high of day once taken, and our target 1 interest at 7636. Here's a way to tell that price is also bad. Look at ES with this first trade. What is the rarity that you see the leading asset come up here and tease this high of day by a tick? Very rare. We then see price come back down and we see price showcase interest in lower. This really put me off because if price is bullish, if price is seeking bullish displays off the rebounds that it did on the 5-minute gap right here, what you would want to see price do at minimum is take out that New York high and see some type of liquidity ran after all this displacement back up. We do not end up seeing that. So get stopped out. In terms of the second trade here, this second trade isn't as bad because this second trade ends up coming after the after the take of Asia lows. We see price come down here at around 10:21 a.m. We see price eventually come down and take out that Asia low. Therefore, you see me spark up interest in potentially taking a long yet again on ES. This time, it was a 1-minute gap go invert. What I wanted to see truthfully prior to this maybe is a sweep of this New York low, then a push back up. We do not end up seeing that. We see price come back up. Therefore, me requiring a bit more displacement. I look for this 1-minute gap here that was displacive. We eventually come up here. We take entry, stop the relative low. Ideology is same. Break-even stops at high of day. Target 1 being 76.36. We come in and almost immediately we head into drawdown. And again, this is simply impatience because you see NQ the whole time not necessarily showcase interest in driving back up. Although their divergence was wide, although we were seeing ES lead supremely, NQ, be a lot more bearish. What you don't want to do is take a long that's not certainly printing the same way on the other asset, right? All I wanted to see price, all I would have taken here on a normal day, had I been a bit more patient, is had we seen a true sweep of this low. We did not see that. We ended up taking the second trade prior to that occurrence, therefore resulting in us coming down here and ES taking these lows out. The divergence is what caused these two trades to get stopped out. First trade was a junction of the Asia lows not being taken on NQ, leaving wide open draw for sell side, and the divergence and this trade on the second take was purely divergence. So moving forward, what I've learned from today, simply put, is I need to be back to being, significantly patient and being at that 100% patience that we usually have. And I just simply did not use that today. And these were pretty much rookie mistakes, if we're being honest, right? With sell side being wide open, there should be no take. With divergence being as wide as it was, especially with no indication of reversal back off the low sweep, there should be no take. This right here, these two trades, ideally in an A+ day, in terms of my execution, should have not been taken. Right now, we should be break even. And for anyone who's watching this live review right now in chat, the real honest truth is this week so far should be a week where we've taken 0 trades thus far. Yesterday was dog shit. Today was pretty bad. Monday was pretty bad as well. At best, this week is a break-even week. That's how conditions are, and that's how they've been as of recent. And I want you guys watching this video to understand this. You see me, even I, have a losing day, losing stretch, and I need you guys to know it's important. That's how trading is. For me, I don't mind taking these losses, don't mind having losing days like this, although obviously I can fix it up, improve and get better. I don't mind necessarily having losses like this because of the fact that I know no matter what, if I continue to follow my system and just that, I will be profitable over the course of time. It's happened over and over again through the course of this year, through the course of last year, and for the bulk of my profitability since I became profitable. You will have losing stretches, you will have winning stretches. The important and the only difference between a good trader and a bad trader is a good trader knows how to maximize on those winning conditions, and they know how to minimize on those losing conditions. So although we're down 2 trades today, although I'm down $76,000 today, it could always be worse. And I think it's good to call your day for what it is and simply move on, because although we're red today, you could always have it worse. So when these winning conditions come back, when conditions and price really step up again and price trades well, you'll see me have reviews that post P&Ls that are significantly higher. You'll see the R's be significantly higher. And for people in the Discord, you'll see what I mean, as it's happened time and time and time again with us on live. You'll see within a couple trades, maybe within a couple days, all these losses that we're potentially taking get mitigated almost instantly. So until then, we remain patient. I know today stung, but we simply move on and take the day for what it is. Let's go.